History is being written right now. Thailand has officially blacklisted 2 Americans, a colleague of mine, Michael Alfaro, and yours truly. And thanks to our reporting, 70,000 Buddhist monks are nominating President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. From Cambodia's killing fields to Ukraine's battlegrounds, Trump is ending conflicts that the establishment said were impossible to solve. Putin himself admitted this war would have never happened under Trump. Now, 8 world leaders assembled in 36 hours for Trump's peace summit. Treasury Secretary Bessent says Trump is the only person on earth who can stop the bloodshed. The military-industrial complex is panicking. The warmongers are exposed. Peace is breaking out worldwide, and they hate it. But can Trump close the deal before more lives are lost? Keep on watching. Now, before we jump into today's news, here is a quick word from our sponsor, Hyperbit Technologies. It trades under HYPAF on the U.S. market. As President Trump puts the spotlight on crypto and pushes forward policies to keep America ahead in the digital asset race, Hyperbit is charging ahead with next-generation crypto mining technology, expanding on their multi-million crypto treasury that already includes Bitcoin and Ethereum, and aiming to position itself from pro-innovation laws and executive orders. Now, this is a complete diversified company that gives you one-stop exposure to the entire crypto sector without having to pick and choose individual projects. Honestly, I could talk about Hyperbit all day, but Trump's bold pro-crypto stance says it all. For everything you need to know, just check out the link in the description below, hyperbit.ca. So this is the scene outside the White House. Take a look at this. Cambodians outside the White House thanking President Trump.
Thank you, President Trump! Thank you, President Trump! Thank you, President Trump! Thank you, President Trump! We love you! We love you! Cambodia love you! Cambodia love you! USA! 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 USA!
So how did we get here? Well, it's a very interesting story. And it starts with one person, Michael Alfaro, bringing this to my attention. And now they're actually writing songs about him in Cambodia. Look at this.
Alfaro, Michael, Mary. Alfaro, Michael, Mary.
You know, I kind of like the sound of that. I like it. I think I could dance to that. I kind of want to get out of this chair and start dancing because it has a beautiful sound to it. The thing is, I've known Michael for years. Michael introduced me to President Trump, and he introduced me to this story. And this is the video that I shot on the way to Texas that set the ball in motion after long discussions with Michael about what was going on in Cambodia with the nomination of of President Trump to be for the Nobel Peace Prize and the renaming of a highway and trying to free these soldiers who are in captivity. I mean, Michael went down to the border. He went to Cambodia. I was talking with him on our entire trip down. The ball was moving so fast, and Michael was there. He's like, look, I got to go. He's like, I just got to go down to the border. I've got to figure out what's happening. And he went. And he was just remarkable in his bravery. Look at him. He's right there in the middle of the night, the rain coming down, and he's revealing
the peaceful people that live in this village. And you have to come with me to see this. Look over here. Look at all these. Look at all these innocent people, these children. Hello.
Now what you're seeing here.
Children here. These children want peace. These children deserve peace. The Thai forces are saying that Cambodians are a threat. The Thai forces are saying that they feel the Thai forces did. till President Trump sees it. Thailand, just wait. You think you're the boss? Wait till the President of the United States finds out exactly what happens on the border. And what did they do? They came here to this village. They built this wall here, the barbed wire fence entire, with guns facing downrange at these young, poor people that are just living outside in the rebels. Thousands of them have now been displaced. Their homes have been taken away. Their schools have been like this before.
So this video that Michael shot, he went live, recorded this video. Now, in the first hour, it hit 9 million views. And after much discussion with Michael and the aggregate that we found of people sharing, from what I understand, this video went so viral in Asia, 100 million views. And it infuriated the government of Thailand to the fact that I'm now blacklisted from the country. Well, guess what? I don't care. Okay, I wasn't planning on going to Thailand anyway, so no sweat off my back. All right? I love it here in the United States. I love my freedom here in the United States. So you guys can blacklist all you want. But that video set off the Royal Thai Army. Look what I removed the text, but this is the propaganda that they put out. They started to claim that he was there as a paid lobbyist. I spoke with Michael directly, and that's not the case. They tried to claim that he was a White House correspondent, but he never made that claim. In fact, the only time that claim was ever made, it came from the Deputy Prime Minister's own Facebook post, which was a misattribution. It was lost in translation. And they've used that as an attack vector ever since to try to discredit Michael and try to discredit me. This is the I'm gonna play all this for you. I'm just trying to set it all up. But here's where Michael was meeting. This is the Ministry of Tourism official Cambodia X account. Michael meeting with high-level diplomats there in Cambodia, triggering a avalanche of support that reached the White House. Thailand has officially blacklisted Trump consultant Michael B. Alfaro and myself, Gary Franchi, chief White House correspondent for Next News Network, after our reporting on the Cambodia-Thailand border crisis reached millions, triggering President Trump's direct intervention and led 70,000 Cambodian monks to nominate him for the Nobel Peace Prize. Michael traveled to Cambodia during the August ceasefire period after Trump warned both nations they could face tariffs if hostilities continued. On the ground, he met with the Deputy Prime Minister, Tourism Minister, and spoke by phone with Prime Minister and First Lady. He documented families displaced into plastic tents, schools and temples destroyed, 18 Cambodian soldiers still being held captive by Thai forces after being lured to the border under a false peace meeting. His live stream drew over 9 million viewers in just an hour, exposing the truth that mainstream media ignored. I amplified those findings to millions more through the Next News Network as a White House credentialed journalist who has reported from NATO and the White House press room. I've used my platform to ensure that Cambodian people's voices were heard. The response, a smear campaign launched by the Thai army and left-wing reporters calling Michael a lobbyist and me just a YouTuber. Their intent was clear: discredit us to bury the truth. And when that failed, they escalated. Thailand blacklisted Michael Alfaro, targeted me by name in a desperate attempt to silence our reporting. But the truth is out. President Trump issued a dramatic ultimatum after reviewing Michael's footage. Cambodia and Thailand must return to the table or face U.S. withdrawal and tariffs. Within hours, both nations held their first peace talks since the conflict reignited. Now the Cambodian people call Michael a hero, and in September, Cambodian-American communities will honor both of us with the Champion Trophy for standing with them when few others would. And today, history was made. 70,000 Cambodian monks just nominated President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize, setting his role in ending the decades-long border conflict. This extraordinary moment is a direct result of the truth Michael exposed in Cambodia. Thailand can blacklist us, they can smear us, but they can't erase the fact that our reporting reached the President of the United States, helped force peace talks, and has now contributed to President Trump's historic Nobel Peace Prize nomination. Thank you very much. They try to smear us. They try to attack us. Here's the letter. This is the letter that I received from the Cambodian Association of North Carolina. I'm deeply humbled to receive this letter from the Cambodian Association of North Carolina. Take no glory in reporting on these moments. I only do what I know is right in my heart. And that is only the guiding principle I have. To right the wrongs that I see. If it wasn't for Michael Alfaro bringing this situation to my attention, I would not have been able to help amplify the suffering and resilience of the Cambodian people in their most critical hour. And for that, I'm thankful. I accept this gratitude not for myself, but on behalf of those whose stories must be told. Too many in my profession would rather turn a blind eye to the pain of others, but being a journalist is not about comfort, it's about courage. It's about shining light into darkness so that justice may one day prevail. To the Cambodian people, thank you. It is my honor to stand with you. And for that, what do I get? I get attacked. But sometimes when you get attacked, you have to punch back. Here, they try to say that, you know, Alfaro is just some kind of lobbyist. He's no connection to Trump. I'm just a YouTuber. Well, this is how far Michael and I's relationship goes back. In Chicago, this is from what was the date here? 2019. 2019. In Chicago, Trump polls donors on clemency for Rod Blagojevich. I was at that meeting at Trump Tower where Donald Trump addressed the room and asked everybody if clemency should be given to Rod Blagojevich. Rod Blagojevich, a Democrat. My mother hated Rod Blagojevich. God rest her soul. But I stood up in that room and because I knew the pain that Rod Blagojevich's wife and children were enduring. And I said, enough. I knew it was politically motivated from the beginning. And I said, it's time to ease the suffering of his wife and children and bring their father home, bring their husband home. And I stood up in that room full of Republicans who would rather see a Democrat rot in prison than return to their family. And I said, free Blago. I screamed it. I jumped out of my seat and I screamed it. Because I wanted to right that wrong. To be damned, I don't care who was in that room. I don't care if it was a bunch of Republicans or GOP operatives or whoever. Made no difference to me. Charlie Kirk was in that room too. I remember meeting him there. But this is the point of that letter. These are the receipts I'm bringing. At the Chicago event, however, nearly all the 200, 300 people present raised their hands in support of clemency, said Michael Alfaro, a Trump fundraiser who sold tickets to an attended event. About 15 hands went up in opposition, he said, mainly from lawmakers and their aides. The president was definitely trying to take the temperature of the room and gauge, especially in a room full of high-dollar donors, how these people are going to feel if Mr. Blagojevich were freed, said Gary Franchi, a conservative video host and executive producer of the Next News Network internet programs, who was also in the room. So anyone who wants to say that we have no connection or, you know, we're not part of this, you know, group of people, yeah, I stood up and I shouted. And where's Blago now? Home with his family. Okay? And for these actions of supporting the voiceless in Cambodia, this guy, Matt Hunt, a France 24 freelancer with 5,000 followers who plays dress up, poses with Thai MPs, and smears us with discredited sources. Meanwhile, we're inside the White House and NATO. Our reporting reached President Trump forced peace talks and drew millions. He decided to do a hit piece on me. Here's my response. White House correspondent. So Matt Hunt wants to pretend he's a journalist. Well, let's have a laugh. Here's a guy hiding out in Thailand, clout chasing for the French, jealous that while he scraps for attention on social media, Michael Alfaro and I are pulling in millions of views and shaking global diplomacy. And that's the difference between noise and impact. Michael risked his life at the border. He didn't just sit in a safe cafe tweeting for clout. He stood in the mud, in the rain, with villagers displaced by Thai aggression, and 9 million people watched him live. That's journalism. That's courage. And me? Well, I'm Gary Franchi. I'm the chief White House correspondent for the Next News Network. I've been in the White House press room. I've reported from NATO. The receipts are all over our feeds, but Matt couldn't even be bothered to take a look. Too lazy or maybe too scared, because if he checked, he'd save himself the embarrassment of running his mouth. Instead, he parrots talking points from discredited bias outlets that smear us as a hate group, right? The same stale garbage the establishment always uses when they're desperate to shut down truth tellers. And by doing that, Matt proves exactly what he is: an establishment puppet, a useful idiot for the very machine the people of Cambodia are fighting to expose. Oh, and by the way, Matt, that oversized press patch you wear like a costume, that's not credibility. That's insecurity. Real reporters don't wear a stitched-on badge in their bedroom for self-validation. Their work speaks for itself. Now, I don't usually waste time addressing clout chasers, but this one's just too rich. Matt Hunt wants to be a journalist. Maybe start by checking facts before humiliating yourself. Until then, leave the real reporting to those of us who are actually in the arena, giving voice to the voiceless and making history while you chase clicks. So, Matt, maybe sit this one out, because the adults are talking. So, Matt Hunt so I had to take that guy to task. I needed to. I don't normally do that, but that one I felt necessary to. And here's more on my report regarding the hero's welcome that Michael just received upon his arrival. Cambodian associate back to the United States. Gary Franchi. I'm the chief White House correspondent for the Next News Network, and I have a very special report. This is a follow-up to the breaking story that we first reported. Two major Cambodian American communities from North Carolina and South Carolina are preparing to gather at Columbia Airport to welcome Michael B. Alfaro home from Cambodia. Saya Thatch, the president of the Cambodian Association of North Carolina, says that Cambodians in America, Cambodia, and around the world now honor Michael as a hero for his courage at the war zone along the Cambodia-Thailand border. Now, Michael flew to Cambodia after President Donald J. Trump warned both nations that if the war continued, they would face tariff consequences. Well, that message from President Trump forced the ceasefire and brought both sides to the table for peace talks. But before that, the conflict was fierce. From July 24th to July 28th, the Thai military attacked Cambodia, killing a Cambodian soldier. And according to the Cambodian Mines Action Center, Thailand unleashed F-16 jets, Gripen fighters, artillery mortars, recoilless rifles, Israeli NG-5 light machine guns, U.S.-made M16A4 rifles with M203 grenade launchers, MK8 bombs, cluster bombs, and even toxic gas. And, most shocking of all, the Thai military kidnapped 20 Cambodian soldiers. 2 were released. 18 still remain in captivity. Now, on the ground in Cambodia, Michael met with the deputy prime minister and, of course, the tourism minister and other senior ministers. He spoke directly with the prime minister and the first lady. At the border, he witnessed the devastation firsthand. Families driven from their homes, living under plastic tents without food, medicine, or schools. And then came the live stream. Michael's broadcast from the border drew more than 9 million viewers in just 1 hour. In that video, he showed barbed wire fences cutting through Cambodian soil, homes destroyed, and families sleeping in the streets. He called out the Thai military for violating President Trump's call for peace and urged the U.S. Congress to take immediate action against Thai aggression. Now, that live stream has now made Michael the target of an international smear campaign. The Thai government has publicly slandered him, falsely claiming he was a paid Cambodian lobbyist. And more dangerously, they've gone even further, calling on Thai nationals in South Carolina to harm him when he returns. Now, these are not private threats. They were made publicly. I spoke to Michael directly, and that's what he claims. Michael's life is now in danger, and for that reason, the South Carolina Attorney General's office has been contacted, and law enforcement is being briefed to ensure his safety upon arrival. Cambodian Americans will be at Columbia Airport to welcome him home, but security is now essential. Now, Sayathach says that Michael's courage revealed the truth. Thai military aggression, Cambodian suffering, and the kidnapping of 18 soldiers still held to this day. He's announced that in early September, the Cambodian community in America will present a champion trophy to Michael B. Alfaro and to me for exposing the truth about Thailand's invasion and standing with the people of Cambodia. This is history in the making. A Cambodian American hero returning home, welcomed by his community, while President Trump's intervention continues to shape peace talks in Southeast Asia. The people of Cambodia deserve peace, dignity, and respect. And thanks to your voices, their story is finally being heard. Make sure to watch, share, and let the world know the truth cannot be ignored. For the Next News Network, I'm White House correspondent Gary Franchi. My name is Gary. And now, outside the White House,
President Trump, please save us!
Free our soldiers!
Free our soldiers!
President Trump, please free our soldiers!
President Trump bringing peace. And even Fox News covered the Cambodian people, the Cambodian monks. Check this out.
70,000 monks just broke their vows of silence. 70,000 monks just broke their vows of silence to nominate Trump for the Nobel.
Dear Mr. President Trump, we are standing here today with hearts full of appreciation. Today, 70,000 Cambodian Buddhist monks are wholeheartedly supportive of our Cambodian Prime Minister Nominate to nominate you for the Nobel Peace Prize. Please accept, Mr. President.
70,000 monks can't be wrong. After Trump brokered a peace deal between Cambodia and Thailand, the monks went ultra MAGA and shaved their heads like Stephen Miller. So 47 thinking about sending them all 70,000 of them Trump 2028 hats, duty and tariff free. Zelensky and Macron went home yesterday with hats that said 4 more years. Just like when you visit a museum, Trump brought them to the gift shop right before they hit the door. Putin wanted a hat too, but instead Melania gave him a letter that said, "Stop killing kids." And Trump buzzed them with B-2s.
Alaska was a show of force by President Trump. He invited President Putin to land that the Russians used to own. He displayed a huge amount of military hardware and then did a flyover. It was kind of like inviting your uncontrollable neighbor to your house and showing him your gun case.
Trump's giving everybody options, the easy way or the hard way. This time, Zelensky picked the easy way. He wore a suit, said his thank yous, and brought Trump a big, beautiful gift, a putter from a Ukrainian soldier who lost his legs in a war and then picked up golf. Engraved on the head, "Let's putt peace together."
Constantine, first of all, I just watched your swing. I know a lot about golf, and your swing is great. It looks beautiful, and you're going to be a very good golfer very soon. But I also want to thank you for this putter. It's beautiful, and it's made with real love, and it's given to me with real love from you, and I appreciate that. Every time I sink a putt, I'll be thinking about you.
Maybe the president.
President Trump being hailed all over the world as the president of peace. Check this out.
Well, here's something you don't see every day.
Dear Mr. President Trump, we are standing here today with hearts full of appreciation for your instrumental role in bringing about the recent ceasefire between Cambodia and Thailand.
Those are Cambodian Buddhist monks cheering on our president for his help in the ceasefire deal between Cambodia and Thailand. Not only that, they are going to be nominating him for a Nobel Peace Prize for his work in ending the war between those two nations.
Today, 70,000 Cambodian Buddhist monks are wholeheartedly supportive of our Cambodian Prime Minister Nominate to nominate you for the Nobel Peace Prize.
So how did it all begin, though? It started with Michael Alfaro walking with those monks, bringing the message of peace to Cambodia, investigating on the ground, going to their temples, observing, reporting, and respecting. And now Fox News is reporting because of everything that Michael and I have been doing behind the scenes to make this moment possible. President Trump is the peace president. And of course, you have what's happening in Russia and Ukraine. Who could bring those guys to the table? As you heard the Secretary Bessent, Putin on American soil, B-2 flyovers. I mean, I think we have, here he is.
President Trump's meeting with the security guarantees go back to Friday. President Trump's meeting with President Putin in Alaska. And President Trump has wanted to end this conflict that never would have started if he had been president. And he convinced President Putin about the security guarantees, that it is what the Europeans call coalition of the willing. The U.S. will not have boots on the ground, may provide some kind of air support, satellite support. And then yesterday, President Trump came in with a plan. He doesn't do these things randomly. And he knew what he had to do with President Zelensky. It was a very good meeting.
That wasn't flattery. The flattery argument on the part of NBC.
Laura, please. It goes back to, again, in Alaska, that President Trump made a mistake inviting President Putin on U.S. soil, or the flattery. It's all the, they're demeaning themselves because President Trump wants to be a peacemaker. He's done 6 peace deals. He knows how to do this. He went in with a plan. We had a long pregame in the Oval beforehand. He had a strategy the whole time. And I don't think it's flattery. I actually think it's deference, because they understand that President Trump is the only person in the world who can stop this conflict.
He's the only person in the world. Here's the Deputy Press Secretary Anna Kelly talking about why we are having these conversations. The only reason.
Not just the president. The only reason we're having any of these conversations is because of this president's leadership. As Secretary General of NATO Mark Rutte, as the Finnish President Stubb all said, not just the president has said, this is a deadlock that endured 4 years of killing, of tragic loss brought on by Joe Biden's incompetence. And so, again, the only reason we're having any of these conversations is because of President Trump's ability to break the deadlock, to show vast leadership and make America respected again on the world stage, because we know, and President Putin admitted himself, this would have never happened if President Trump was in office.
It would have never happened. Here is Ambassador Monica Crowley. We had 36 hours to gather 8 world leaders.
2 a.m.
Think about the logistics.
We're returning.
Think about the logistics involved. 8 world leaders all coming to Washington, D.C. on the same day.
From Alaska, which was a very productive meeting between Presidents Trump and Putin. We were coming back to Washington, D.C., and at about 2 a.m. on Saturday morning, while we were still on the plane, the president was making a series of phone calls around the world, and we heard that President Zelensky was coming to the White House at 1 p.m. on Monday. So we essentially had 36 hours to gather 8 world leaders, including 6 heads of state, gather them at the White House, and make sure every detail was taken care of to ensure the greatest environment, Martha, for the most robust, effective diplomacy. And I think we saw yesterday that only President Trump could convene this kind of gathering of so many world leaders on such short notice in pursuit of peace between Russia and Ukraine. You need a president who's a visionary leader, who is absolutely committed to the peace process, and this president is. I mean, he's already settled about half a dozen other world conflicts around the globe. And this one, as the president has said, has certainly proven to be the most difficult, but he is also incredibly committed to ensuring peace for all of the people in that region. We were returning from a...
Here's more from the Deputy Press Secretary. No, I'm sorry. Here's more from Monica Crowley.
superhuman. We all talk about the superhuman strength and superhuman energy of President Trump. He literally works around the clock to make America great again, of course, but he also has these external issues like the war between Russia and Ukraine, which, as he says, would never have started if he had been president. It certainly didn't start in his first term, but he is left with a lot of issues that are very complicated, very dangerous. He's left with all of that to clean up from the Biden years. And so he is absolutely committed to doing it. He really is a man of peace. And of course, President Trump is driven by strategic imperatives for America's national security interests. But he is also really interested in saving lives. And he said,
here we have oil prices in war, energy prices influencing conflicts.
Biden enabled this war. Well, they're probably not thinking about much at all, right? The Autopen's thinking. Look, President Biden enabled this war.
Yeah.
Because when President Trump took office the first time, energy prices were $140 a barrel for oil. That gave Russia windfall profits to pay for a war. President Trump comes in, and that's when Russia took Crimea in the Obama administration. Trump comes in, his energy policies drive the price of oil, down from $140 a barrel down to $40 a barrel. Russia was broke. They didn't have any money to fight a war, even if he'd wanted to. Even if President Putin said, I'm going to be really tough, I'm going into Ukraine, he didn't have the money to do it. Well, they're probably not thinking about much at all, right? The Autopen's thinking. Look, President Biden enabled.
Here is the Steve Witkoff on peace missions.
But we're in a negotiation, mediating, and I think we're going to be very successful because of the leadership of President Trump. But there were concessions almost immediately made on the part of the Russians in the first meeting in Alaska. And, part of getting those concessions was learning whether we were going to be able to see the Russians prepared to be more accommodating. And it was clear that's a bit of intelligence that's really important for us to see. And the president fleshed that out almost immediately. And that's what led to the length of the meeting. We stayed there for quite some time because we actually made progress on how we might get to a peace deal. A ceasefire deal is very, very easy to break because it doesn't have all the ingredients attached to it. A peace deal is much more different. It's sturdy. And the president began to sense in this meeting in Alaska that we had a lot of the precursors agreed to for a peace deal. So why not pursue an entire peace deal? And of course, in this sort of nutty world, he got criticized for that. I sat and watched it and marveled at it, to tell you the truth.
Well, it's because the war machine, it thrives on war. The war profiteers, the military-industrial complex. Peace is a word that they despise. How many more body bags can they sell? How many more bullets can they sell? How many more tanks and helicopters and planes can they build? How much money can they launder through Ukraine? Right? All that stops once the word peace is on the lips of world leaders, and that's what President Trump is doing. He's making everybody talk about peace. From Russia and Ukraine to Cambodia and Thailand. Let's listen to this is why does President Trump now want to move directly from the current situation to a peace deal?
By some statement.
Okay, and one of the things that since the Alaska meeting on Friday is that there's no longer any discussion about a ceasefire. Why do you think the idea of a ceasefire was put to one side and President Trump now seems to think it's better to go from where we are now directly to a peace deal? What's the thinking?
I believe that we will get more about what happened really in Alaska very soon. President Trump was badly criticized for convening meeting with Putin, but I wouldn't join those voices criticizing him because I do remember great talking between Obama and Putin when Kremlin already invaded Georgia and Ukraine. I do remember many other US presidents wanted to look into the eyes of Yeltsin or Putin and try to find some wisdom there. So it's not the kind of only unique role of ongoing president of the United States, but definitely the language Trump's administration chooses right now, it's much better for Ukraine. And we were all confused by pictures received from Alaska, by some statements from there. And after discussion in Washington, we still believe that we are all allies and we do understand that Russia shall be stopped and this war shall be over.
Peace through strength. Uncle Jimbo, if a peace deal is made, how are the Democrats spinning it? Guaranteed they'll start to say in unison, Trump's bowing down to Putin. These people are sick. They'd rather see war continue than Trump come out ahead and make a peace deal. This is history in the making, folks. And we are right at the center of it all. And you are witnessing it. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. This is what real leadership looks like. While Biden sent billions to fund endless war, Trump makes one phone call and suddenly peace talks are happening. The establishment hates this because war is the business model. They profit from death, destruction, and division. Trump threatens their blood money pipeline by actually solving conflicts instead of managing them. From Southeast Asian temples to European capitals, the world recognizes Trump as the peacemaker, while our own media calls him a warmonger. And Thailand can blacklist truth tellers like myself or Michael Alfaro, but they can't blacklist peace. When 70,000 monks unite to nominate an American president for the Nobel Prize, that's not politics, that's divine intervention. So here's my question. Should Trump accept the Nobel Prize or tell them to keep it until every war is ended? Drop a yes or a no, and let's continue this conversation. And while you're commenting, make sure you grab some Next News gear from our shop. You'll find it linked down below.